We are now going to bring out our second guest, who was in fact the first guest on Ordinary Iowa, the man who spawned partially the idea for the show, a man of unbounded genius. Chris, I got this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Alexander Abian. How's it going, sir? Let me get you turned on here. Go ahead and step on up on the stage. How are you today, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Excellent. Dr. Abian.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. Again, our last guest on the show ever.
Yeah.
You must be proud. And tell your children or something. Well, of course, everyone knows you from the first theory you discussed on the show,
yeah,
which is the theory that if we blow up the moon, it will tilt the Earth's axis and eliminate the seasons and eliminate a lot of other bad problems dealing with the Earth. Correct? Is that a fairly good summary?
More or less.
Okay.
Although that phrase "blowing up the moon" was sensationalism of journalistic order.
That's crazy.
The idea was to make to alter the orbit of the Earth.
Okay. Well, in any case, that's old news.
It's
right?
old news, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear that you have some new ideas and some new things you've been working on. Namely, I know that you attended a conference in, I believe it was Russia,
yes,
discussing this. And the first thing that I heard about was the fact that you have a new theory of creation.
Yes, I am very glad that you asked. You know, the mainstream establishment of physics and astronomy believes that the universe was created via Big Bang, you know.
Right.
And that means there was a little atom or a little molecule which some miraculously exploded and created the universe.
Not very large.
Yes, I am totally against it, and I do not accept that.
Right.
I think that it was not a Big Bang, but it was a big suck. And that big suck, not in the pejorative sense.
Not in the pejorative sense.
No. That means not with no sexual connotation. I mean, if you find a sexual connotation in big suck, you will find the same thing in Big Bang. You know.
Of course. So in any case,
the theory, yes, I have to explain the theory and see if it makes sense. Yeah, I think that at the beginning there was a concentrated primeval mass. That's
right.
Of course, that's a mystery. But I think that the space was totally void. And I think there was a big clash between the concentrated mass and the void of space. Like you will not tolerate an intruder, that it's a threatening thing. Space, the void of space, treated the primeval mass as an intruder. And as a result, it wanted to dilute it, to suck it in and to disperse it and not to let the concentrated mass be in the void of space. The same way that if an enemy enters into a country, the country tries to get rid of the enemy by various means, and one of the means is to dilute the enemy. And I think that process of dilution is still continuous, and we call it expanding universe.
Okay, so this is and this in itself is against the theories that Einstein has proposed. So.
That is not in that sense. No, Einstein.
Well, it's somewhat true.
No,
I mean, some of his ideas, like the conservation of energy, would have to be violated.
I do not think
I
that.
don't know much
no,
about physics.
But that comes to the notion of the time. Time is one of the most enigmatic items in physics, and they really gloss over it, and they're never explained. And I believe that watches do not make time. I believe time is precisely a mass of universe which is spent to move time further. The same way that you have inertia and you do not like to be changed, you have resistance to change your position. You like to preserve your status quo. Everybody wants to preserve the status quo of ideas or the status quo of physically themselves.
Well, in other words, Dr. Abian, the mass is acting like a human.
Yes. Of course, we can. The preservation of status quo is not always successful, and more powerful forces will make change. You change your ideas also by indoctrinations, and you change again by indoctrinations. Yes.
Okay.
Now, time also wants to maintain its status quo.
Right.
But it moves, we know. We cannot see time going back, as Einstein predicted. I do not think that you will see the same Cleopatra lying on a sofa and letting an asp bite her breasts. I do not
on the way back?
Yes.
No, you don't think that'll happen? I don't either. So what you're saying though is mass in a sense
what I'm saying
has consciousness. That means it has human-like qualities.
Yes, mass and everything. You are made of electrons and protons and neutrons. And
I got a little cottage cheese in there too.
Yeah. And this is also made of electrons, protons, and neutrons.
Okay.
It has all the characteristics of an animate object, but to a very, very minute, undetectable scale. It reacts also to provocations like you do. If you want to big, it fights you back, etc., etc. Now, time wants to preserve its status quo, but it is not. To move time further, I believe that some cosmic mass is spent as energy to move time forward. And this is the missing mass that you have heard, and nobody explains. I think the missing mass in universe is precisely that mass which is spent to move time forward. Yes.
Well, Dr. Abian, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes.
I mean, speaking of time, we gotta go. Well, we'll come back to completing our thoughts on this matter. But first, over the past weekend, we asked Dr. Abian if we could go visit him at his house, and we put together a little video of our home tour of Dr. Alexander Abian. So let's take a look.
I did not.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Dr. Abian. How are you, sir?
Fine, how are you?
Excellent. Well, come on, Andy, let's go into Dr. Abian's house. Don't trip on the cord. Okay, so we're here at the home of Dr. Alexander Abian, the infamous character here on campus. Maybe famous, actually. That's the way to put it. So, Dr. Abian, could you show us around the house a little bit?
Well, this is the living room, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
So, this is my piano.
Your piano here?
Yeah.
Do you play the piano?
Well, I used to play, but still.
Go ahead, sit down and play a little bit for us.
Yeah, I'm not in good shape to play, but...
I'm sure it'll sound great.
Wow. This is for you.
Hey, we have food. Right on. Hey, Andy, go ahead and grab a little bit of food here.
Some soda or some Coke or coffee or what?
Oh, I think we're fine with the lovely donuts and trinkets you provided for us.
This is the kitchen.
Oh,
Very seldom I use it, but...
I see you have a lovely assortment of plastic utensils.
Plastic, yes, so that I use them once and throw it away,
That's good. You don't have to deal with all those crazy metal silverware.
Yeah, and also... So you want to see what's in the refrigerator?
Hey, you got toasted oats. Dr. Abian loves toasted oats. Yes, he does. Sure, what's it? Andy, let's check out Dr. Abian's refrigerator. A little Diet Coke.
Probably subject to lots of criticism.
Yes, he's a big fan of creamy Italian dressing.
I am embarrassed to show you my bedroom.
Oh, excellent. Well, you sleep in there. It's just, another room. There it is. That's good enough.
My study is downstairs.
Ah, the study.
It's not in a good shape. Very ordinary.
Don't fall down the stairs. Very nice. So here's your works over here, Dr. Abian. When did you paint this one? 76. That's
76.
why that was when I was born.
Yeah.
So this is obviously
Not me. And this is also my work. Yeah.
those are all very
yes.
excellent paintings.
Yeah.
Who's this individual here? Would that be you?
That's me. Yeah.
This is get a close up of Dr. Abian as a younger,
As
more
a young man. Yeah.
younger man.
This is Venus by Rubens.
Oh, I thought maybe that was you too. No, that's not you. Okay. No. So Abian as a younger man.
I mind to know somebody like that.
Yeah. Should we go look at your furnace?
Yeah.
Do you find that furnace is efficient enough for your uses?
It's quite efficient enough to warm my cold soul, you know. This is where I wash my clothes. I just washed everything
Back in July.
No. In expectation to see you, so I washed everything.
That's good. Yeah, you got a ping pong table here? You're using the ping pong table as what?
As just a table to put things on it, you know, as a storage shelf. You know.
Huh. Anything else you got interesting here in your house?
Nothing very interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to look at what do you call it?
The dehumidifier?
Yeah.
The dehumidifier is rather interesting. Look at that.
And of course, this is for ventilating.
Yes, everyone needs to be well ventilated.
Yeah.
We can end it on Dr. Abian and his wonderful piano musings coming to a cabaret lounge near you soon.
Very, very emotional, very small. And another one by Bach.
So that was quite interesting to see how the man behind all of the legend lives. So back on what we were talking about before, we have some more time to clarify and sort of refigure
really,
things.
I would like that the young generation question the old traditional and established ideas by the mainstream of establishment.
Right.
And we were all indoctrinated about time, especially. We think time is what watches indicate, and it is not so.
What is what?
I think
indicates?
time, what it indicates it indicates the movement of the hands on your dial. That's what it indicates. Yeah, and the time is really has the aspect of mass, I think, and you missing mass. And for the expanding of universe, I would say that Big Suck is really no joke. Big Suck is the answer. It is the same way that you will avoid any kind of intrusion and you will try to maintain your status quo. If you drop, you know, in chemistry, if you drop a drop of water into an acid jar, in sulfuric acid jar.
Like what's in here?
You know, tremendous amount of heat is created. There are explanations. One, probably if you have been in the laboratory, they told you probably never drop a drop of water into acid jar, because the drop of water is an intrusion to the acid. Acid wants to maintain its concentricity, and so it evaporates the intruder, not to allow to be diluted acid. You see, so there is even there tremendous amount of reaction to maintaining the status quo. Everybody try to maintain our status quo, but we are not always successful, and I am very glad that we are not successful, because there will be no progress if the status quo is preserved always.
Okay, so how might new ideas like this change science as we know it? I mean, what kind of concrete things can we look forward to happening?
Well, the human intellect does not always look for the concrete realization or concrete what you call implementation of the theories. Not for that.
Right.
People have created theories which were implemented later, much later than the date of the theory. Human intellect is curious. It wants to answers. And I do not go with those physicists who say that in physics we do not ask why, we ask how. But then you ask why, do you ask how, they don't know what to answer. You know?
I think they're just a bunch of nuts. I mean, if more of them were like the two of us, a lot of stuff would get...
Yeah.
Well, do you have any new plans for the future? Any new things that you're working on?
Yes, for the future, I just received, really, and it's not, I'm not trying to plug myself. And of course,
go ahead. This is your format.
Of course, listen, everybody wants to impose his ideas to another. Everybody, there's a tendency of imposition of one's ego upon the other. But I just received from BBC of London invitation to participate in their program of planets in 1997 or something like that.
Well,
and yes,
perhaps we can look for you there. And
yes, and I think the person who is corresponding with me is not too against of using the word big suck, you know.
Okay, well that's good. Excellent. Okay, well Dr. Abian,
yes,
we are out of time.
Okay.
However, I would like to thank you for being the final guest on Ordinary Iowa. Yeah. And it's my pleasure. It has been since I've known you.
And so it's my pleasure
thank
also,
you.
Yes. I hope...
Perhaps we'll see you next year on STV9.
Yes. I hope I have introduced some ideas for some fruit for thought, you know, so why don't you think about it, really?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Abian.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.